Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. You know, today, one of my baby brothers, Reverend Willie Williams, in Itabena, Mississippi, is being buried. He wanted so much to see the work of God prevail in our society. The work has always been there. The work is still remaining to be done. But the most interesting thing that stays on my mind when I think about my brother is the last words that he shared with me. I call it a message. He was telling me that out of his life's experience, with God or without God, that if he had one more time, in fact, he said, Eddie, Holder, that's what he called me. If God gave me some more time, I would serve God like there's nothing more important on the face of the earth. No! Dang! I'm sitting here now going through some changes. Might be just dying myself. I mean, I constantly say that I am. But with the predicaments, the ailments that I am enduring, they are life-threatening. But I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is the human race. I've been here quite a few years myself. I lived about in the 50s, 60s, and so on. I remember how the race relationship was in those days. I remember black people wanting to have some decency, some dignity, some respectability, some life. And all we had was what those who had been our oppressors allowed us to have. And we accepted it. And the story goes, so much so, everybody needs to know it so it won't ever be repeated. And yes, it's so shameful, those who are part of it want to hide it. And we all know if it's hid, it will be born again. In fact, we have politicians that's trying to revive it today. That's the sad thing. I think about Bull Connors. I think about George Wallace. Man, I just think about the dogs, the policemen, the racists, the clans, the hate groups, all white. How they used to do people who were my shade, spraying them with, giving them pure hell. And yet there were men amongst them who defied and stood up. And there were white people who joined in with them. And they fought back to bring about just a teeny weeny bit of change. Just a teeny weeny bit of change, ladies and gentlemen. Just a teeny weeny bit of change. And it's been second-class citizen even to this day. And when I think about Donald Trump, the candidate for President of the United States in 24, who has represented the greatest evil that we as black people have imagined in our lifetime, my lifetime. A repeat of the Bull Connors. A repeat of the George Wallaces. The Perrys. And to think, it's all built on hate, all built on racism and bigotry, all built on sin. And to look around and find that most of white Americans in the South loves it. They represent the ones that's putting the hoses, spraying water on black people today, black children today, women who want to take care of their own bodies today, women who want to love women, and men who want to love men today. Sending dogs on them. The country, how can, this is America. I'm here. We are here. And this is how we are being received, accepted or not. Can you believe it? And this, my friends, all of this, I want you to know, all of this hate, all of this pain, all of this suffering, all of this agony is an expression of people who have been taught that this is the righteous way. They have been taught that this is God. They have been taught that this is divine. They have been taught that this is what they must commit their lives to. Hate, racism, and bigotry, and everything that comes from it. Oftentimes I wake up thinking that I walk out of my door and there's nothing there. Everything is burned to the ground all over the globe, not just in America. And people walking around like zombies wondering what they're going to do. What they're going to do. There's no food. There is nothing but destruction. Burn. Everybody needing everything. Needing everything. Needing food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, transportation, needing water, and find themselves in such a mess. What do you do? Will you do something, or will you start eating each other? Well, we know that there will be those that will start eating each other. But that won't get us out of that mess. In order to get out of that mess, there's something else that's got to be done. We have to wake up and face the truth and walk according to that truth. What is that truth? That we, each of us, would be wanting some food. Each of us would be wanting some water. The one thing that, or many things, that any one of us would be wanting, all of us would be wanting it. And if we knew that it was enough under that burnt that we could all have access, if we all engage ourselves in a process of doing a part of whatever is required to be done in order to cause a manifestation to meet those needs and those requirements, what would we do? I'd like to think that we would push all that dust away. You would do your job, I do my job, everybody would do their jobs, and in doing our jobs, it would be so intertwined and interrelated that when we get through, we could all rub our bellies. But you know, that might be my will. That might be everybody's hope. But would everybody engage themselves? The evidence is no. But do we stop anyway, hoping that one day it will change? Well, we haven't. And we see that unless we take those necessary changes, it's just a rotation. Over and over and over and over and over again. And yet the wheels keep on turning. So it seems to me there's only one escape. That is to know the truth. That's the truth. And walk according to that truth. That was the message that I got from my brother. If God gave me any more time, I'd serve God as if it's the most important thing on the face of the earth. You know what that does, ladies and gentlemen? That frees any dead person. That they can live, that they can walk the earth according to the basic principles of peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and happiness and the fulfillment of their dreams. They have to fight for nothing because there's no hate there, and they're walking under the Spirit of God and the protection of God, and it doesn't matter when the devil says you got to go. We thank you. Because to sit out here today thinking about all of these years of my life, and when I go back in that house, whether I turn the television on or it's already on, it's going to be on Trump, and it's going to be on what Trump is about. It's going to be on his lies. It's going to be on his hatred. It's going to be on all his racist stuff and all his bigoted stuff, acting just like the devil. And nobody will tell you that there's another way. And I'm not talking about the Democratic way. I'm talking about the way of God, the way of love, the way that tells the truth and walks according to the truth. No one will tell you that. There's no money in it. It's a crying shame. But this is the world we live in. But my brother says, if he had one more opportunity, he has that opportunity in me. Because I am not going to settle for it as a child of the love that I was taught by a different God. And I wasn't taught about the God of Trump. I wasn't taught by the God of DeSantis. I wasn't taught by the God of white people. And I seemingly was not taught by the God of black people. I was taught about a spiritual God that says, do unto others as you'd have others to do unto you, and that thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And to accept anything other than that is to be an instrument of the anti-God. So, as far as I love you all, I commit my life to do whatever is possible to set you free. That's how much I love you. But I'm sure going to tell you the truth. And right now, as the way I see it, every human being on the face of the earth, if you're not trying, committing your life to make sure that the life that you so desire is available to everybody else, you are a demon, demonic, possessed individual, not even knowing it. I just thought I'd leave that